Hey guys, Mike from Boyer Bows here. Alright, when I left you I was putting the rawhide on the bow. I got it on, both limbs now. I'm going to give you a close-up in a second to show you how that turned out, but here's the bow at the moment. I've sanded down a little bit, just cleaned everything up, but let's give you a close-up on the rawhide actually. And you can see obviously I sanded down. I cut into the back here a little bit more than I wanted, but that'll be okay. It's still not bending. And I just tried to feather out the areas where the rawhide touches the wood. I'll talk about what that is in a minute here. You got the more rawhide. Tried to feather it out again, smooth it out where it touches into the riser. Same thing on the other side. And then there's the rest. Once you get there, you can really kind of start the tillering process. So what I did was I cut a couple of temporary knocks. I just tried to get something at about between a 30 and 45 degree angle in the side. Now you notice this time I didn't cut into the back because I want to do something with the back. I'm going to put some tip overlays on or something like that, and I want this flat, so I didn't want to put a groove in here. So I just cut a couple of little notches there for the string on both ends. And now I'm using another bowstring as a tillering string, but you see there's no tension in the string, but it is pretty close to the bow, so we'll be able to get a pretty good idea of what it's doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to back this camera up and pull the bow a little bit, and you guys tell me what you see, or think to yourselves what you see as far as the tiller of this thing goes so far, and I'll tell you what I saw, and we'll move on from there. Alright. Now hopefully this is all going to stay in the camera. I think it should. Pretty close. But I'm not even going to try it for full draw yet. But here we go. You guys hopefully are seeing that. Alright, I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to let it go. Now, I don't know what you guys saw on that. Hopefully we all saw the same thing, in that this upper limb is not bending as well or stronger than the lower limb. I thought the lower limb was curving pretty well. The upper limb, obviously stronger, and I think it was bending a little more here than it was up here. So what I did was I just took a pencil and I made a mark there, like that, on the upper half of the working limb. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrape the upper limb, just scrape that piece off. Put it in my Stave Master vise. Little promotion for Stave Master there. And I got my scraper here, and I'm just going to scrape that mark I made with the pencil off. Okay? I'm not pushing overly hard. I just want to get enough wood off that it takes the pencil part off. If I really wanted to get in and dig some wood out, I'd use a Sharpie, because the Sharpie, the marker absorbs into the wood, and I'd be taking a lot more wood off to get that marking, those markers, lines out. And now that I did that, I want to go over it one more time, the whole limb, because the whole limb was stronger, right where the fade ends. I'm going to do the whole limb. Just come with the pencil. I think it'll take a whole limb. I think that little section will help this bend better, but now I hope this limb is going to be bending better. But now I'm going to take it down on the top limb here and see if I can get the two limbs bending evenly. Alright, so just to show you what that looks like real quick. Not rocket science here. I just marked up the whole working limb of the bow because I'm going to take it off. Because I made these lines all the way across, it makes it so that I don't take off more wood on one side versus the other side. It helps you take off the same amount of wood throughout the width of the bow so you don't get any extra twist, because one side might be thicker than the other. That's why you kind of use the pencil as the guideline. So again, nice and, I'd say firm but gently. Firm hold on the bow, but gentle pull back. Not pushing down, not digging into the wood. I'm just scraping off the surface layer where the pencil is. Just trying to use nice even strokes. And when I do, right now, I'm just trying to be precise with where I'm taking the wood off. Pencil is now off. I'm only going to do one of those. Now let's see how we did. I'm going to give it a couple of impulses, just a couple of pulses. It's got a nice springiness to it. I'm really happy about that. Okay, here we go. Let's see what you think now. Now I can't really see it. But let's see what you think. I'm going to give it a little bit bigger pull here. Feels like it's springy enough that it can handle it. Alright, we're going to hold. I think that upper limb's weaker now. Just off the cuff. Yeah, I think it is. See how much difference it makes when you just do one scraping? It takes off a lot of weight. When you start to really get the wood bending, one scrape, a lot of weight. You got to be careful now. I got to be real careful I don't miss my draw weight. Alright, another thing that I've noticed a lot of guys asking me is they're sending me pictures of bows that they're doing their work on, they're in the tillering, and they seem to be, they look good. Some of them are breaking, some of them aren't. But everyone seems to have a lot of bend right near the riser. And then this part of the bow is kind of straight, and you need to watch out for that. You guys are getting a lot of bend right here in this area, and then the rest of the bow is kind of, it's a nice looking, it's sort of an illusion. It looks like a good tiller, but you really got to look at the second half. And for whatever reasons, I do it too, man. I got to be honest with you. You start doing it, it looks like it's bending a lot through. It looks pretty good, but when you really analyze the bend, there's a lot more bend near the riser than there is out by the end of the limb. I would say there's been at least a half dozen people who've sent me pictures in the last week and a half who are all sort of doing the same thing. So, tip of the day is make sure that whether it's a Mollegabet, a flat bow, or whatever bow you're making, that the curve is bent, has equal amounts of bend throughout the entire area that's supposed to be bending. A lot of bend here that straightens out still looks like a good bow, but it should be a perfect, almost like a D. If you have a straight handle, it won't be a perfect D. A stiff handle won't be a perfect D shape, but you want it to be, you almost want to be able to fit a circle inside the parts that are curving. This should be a perfect circle, at least in the bending parts. I gotta go inside and take a look at this now, so we'll come back in a few minutes with another video showing you what I do next. Bye from Boyer Bows, guys. Talk to you in a minute.